If you have big goals but keep hitting the same internal wall, listen closely. Hard work will take you far. And when effort stops working, it is not a strategy problem. It is a programming problem. You do not rise to your goals. You elevate to your programming. Inside Outspoken, you'll reprogram the subconscious patterns that drive 95% of your results. And in the process, earn 6 powerful certifications while you do it. Enrollment closes January 31st. If you are ready to stop pushing and start leading from a solid, grounded foundation, join us in Outspoken. Welcome to the Own Your Choices, Own Your Life podcast. I know you are here wanting to change and rewrite your story. You are desiring to step into the impact that you know you are here to create. I am here to guide you with the proven tools and strategies used by myself and our speakers to support you in taking radical responsibility in your life and learning how to own your choices to change your story. My name is Marsha Van Weinsberg. I am a storytelling business coach, master NLP trainer, speaker, podcaster, and 7 times published author. My clients have found freedom and purpose from overcoming their shame stories and learning how to share them with the world. I am so grateful you are here. Let's get started. Welcome back to the show. This is an important episode. I say it all the time, but I really want to dive into talking about how can you still be a heart-wired leader when it's hard? When it's hard. I'm actually recording this one over the Christmas holidays, and I'm in a space where I recognize that there are times it is not easy to stay heart wired, heart open, vulnerable, allowing ourselves to be actually fully seen. Yet, if we are fully masked and blocked and armored and people don't see who we are, then that's exhausting too, because eventually that gets really, really heavy and it anchors into your heart. I don't have the stats in front of me and I meant to pull them up. I was listening to a book and it's James Doty. He has since passed. I believe that his episode is the #1 downloaded episode on Mel Robbins' show. He was a neurosurgeon as well as a massive philanthropist who lived not an easy life experience and story. So he shares it. I've read 2 of his books, but I just finished listening to Into the Magic Shop, I think is what it's called. Anyways, one of the things he talks about is how we have like 5,000 times more communication from our heart to our brain versus brain to heart. So how many times do we think, okay, I'm going to think and figure that out, and I'm going to be in a space that I'm going to have the answer, not even thinking about our heart. That was not something that was probably ever considered. But when we can come to a space of allowing our heart to open and be in a space of like, it's safe to be seen, it's safe to be heard. When we allow our heart to open, what happens is actually we increase communication to our brain. We see opportunities that we didn't see before, and it's a resonance that is resulting in our body. And so, how do we do that? Literally, it's like slowing down, breathing, listening, asking yourself some questions, getting out of our head. Being in our head is not helping us. So, I wanted to share about like, what do you do in tough moments? How can you still be in a space where it feels safe to be seen, where you can feel like I am hardwired, I am growing capacity, and I'm allowing myself to be visible. Because when life is hard, the #1 thing we do, right? Our subconscious mind wants to protect us, is the #1 thing we do is we default into protection. Oh, not safe. That feels hard, not safe, can't be around. We shut down, we numb out, we armor up, we disconnect from the world. But becoming heart-wired is actually choosing the opposite response because it's not easier. It's what actually allows us to build capacity to be easier in the long run, right? Of course, it's easier to numb down shut down, numb out, and not be in a space of, allowing ourselves to feel. When you can tap into your heart, that is where you will find your own self leadership. So I've shared this before, but I spent my whole life hard with a D, wired. And hardwired is like survival mode, armoring, like shutting down, numb, all those things that I just shared. Whereas heartwired is nervous system regulation, emotional, being emotional, allowing our emotions to feel them, like courageous openness, putting yourself out there, like literally like playing big and putting yourself out there. It's really powerful when you can do that. It's not always about being positive or bypassing your emotions and not feeling it, but it's coming down and being like rooted in who you are, even though everything in you may want to run. I had a really difficult conversation with a neighbor, a friend in the neighborhood, and he's an EMT. We got talking about, what that job is like at this time of year. And he said, it's really hard. I'm not trying to be negative, but it's a hard job. And of course it is. Absolutely. And he said that nothing kind of prepares you for this work. And everyone else is talking about Christmas like it's a Hallmark movie. Yet in the real world, it's not. But he said, the real world is interesting, a little sidetrack, but a real world is interesting, he said, because I can easily pull up into a $10 million home and have to deal with domestic abuse, deal with substance abuse. And it's the kinds of things you wouldn't think would happen. So he said, sometimes I just want to shut it all down. I said, well, I get that. You're allowed to feel that. Yet I'm guessing you're a pretty wired person who goes back to his job for what he loves. And he goes, yeah, I want to help people. And it's important that we allow ourselves time to come back in and just from a boundary standpoint, right? Protect our energy, but not to protect ourselves to shut down. So, like when it gets hard, our subconscious mind, it actually loves, right? It needs safety, but it loves predictability. It wants things to be predictable because then it knows like what's coming, right? It knows where the danger is and knows what's coming. What do I have to watch for? And so in hard moments, when we go into a protection mode, what happens is that we will go into, I'm too much. They said, I can't do that. I'm too loud. I'm too bossy. I'm too all these things. I can't handle this much stress. It's too much for me. And another big one is that like if people actually see the real me, they would leave. They would not stay. They would go. And when our nervous system goes into these like defense mechanisms, we go into that freeze, we disconnect, we overthink, we go right back to our head, right? Completely out of our heart, back into our head. And then we armor up. And when we do that, we actually shut ourselves down from the things that we are craving. We are shutting ourselves down from the support connection, the collaboration, from everything that we desire. As well as that, when we do that, creativity just stops. Creativity just goes. There's no room for creativity. And so we have to allow ourselves to feel these feelings and come back to it is safe to feel these feelings. I don't have to run. I could be in this space. So when things are not working out the way that you hope, that you would expect, that you want them to, what is your old pattern? Is your old pattern to armor up and numb out? Is your old pattern to go, oh my God, I need a drink? There's nothing wrong with having a drink, but it's when you need something. Like it's what do you need in order to regulate? Do you know how to regulate within yourself? Do you trust yourself enough to regulate on your own through your own breath, which you can do in less than a minute? Taking yourself from your sympathetic system into your parasympathetic system to drop down. And when you feel that feeling, right? Like, so me, an example, when you feel that it's like, oh God, it's not safe to be seen right now. I don't want to do this. You might actually feel like the tightness, a contraction feeling, breathing into it. Like, how can you breathe into it to slow it down? How can you anchor into your heart? Like, if you can close your eyes and if you can breathe and stay focused, if you could actually speak to your heart like an organ, what would it tell you to do next? What is the most honest, authentic, real version of you? What would she say to do next? And if you could allow yourself to be seen vulnerably, open in a regulated space with the right people, What would change? That is when you start to recognize your vulnerability can be a superpower. It takes time to learn that. And it takes time to trust yourself to allow it to be seen. That's expansion. It's like hitting the edges of yourself, right? We can play in this little tiny comfort zone, but what can we hold in this space? Not a lot. Like it just keeps us in contraction. When we touch the edges of ourselves and we like work on actively and safely expanding who we are, we become more open and we become more comfortable with that uncomfortable feeling, right? And somebody said to me, it doesn't bother you when people say negative things. I said, it's taken time to work into this and I still get them to this day, but I can absolutely guarantee you, if I get negative comments, that will become a podcast episode. It'll become a post. It'll become a story that I will share. Not from the lens of proving that, see, this is the shit that I still deal with. It's from the lens of this still exists and this is how you can handle it. And I'll be damned if people like that are going to get the best of me. Be damned. It's not going to happen. So every time you actually come into this space of feeling uncomfortable, wanting to armor up, but you slow down your breathing, you anchor in your heart, and you're like, no, here I am, and I'm ready. I'm safe to be me. I'm allowing myself to be seen. You're going to continue to reinforce your own self worth, your own confidence, your own community is going to find you. I recognize it. 10 years ago, I had no one. Literally, I honestly say so much of my circle was gone because nobody wanted to be around us and our story. And that took time to rebuild. And the people that I get to surround myself with today, I'm so freaking blessed. And a lot of it is because I allow myself to be fully seen too. I do. I allow myself to be seen. And that is continuing to build proof within myself that when I allow myself to be seen, the right people find me, the right connections happen, the right clients like link in, my business grows. I love what I'm doing. So many things happen. And I know because of this and because of touching the edges of myself, I have healed the edges of myself even more than I could have ever even thought was possible. So this conversation was sparked because I started to talk about some difficult things coming into the new year. There's a lot of stories of mental health addiction right now. We all have it in our families. It at times feels very hard and difficult and almost, I don't want to say hopeless because that's not what I want to believe, but I have my moments. I'm not going to lie. And I come back to this work over and over. How can I stay grounded and neutral and open hearted and allowing myself to touch the edges of who I am, to grow my capacity, to grow my confidence, because it's continuing to build the foundation. The foundation of who you are, that's your belief system. That's your foundation. You can't outwork something that you don't believe is possible for you. You just can't do it. You have to build that foundation, which I will share a little bit, but that is a word that is anchoring for me this year is the word belief. Belief and believe, like the Ted Lasso believe sign. And the reason is because there are so many massive things happening in my business, our business this year that it's requiring a foundation of belief, like an absolute freaking knowing that we've got this. We've got this. Not only do we've got this, we're built for this. Like this is what we are here to do. So when it gets hard, I invite you to ask yourself, what is your past pattern? Do you close off, armor up, shut the world off, numb out? How can you allow yourself to do the opposite? How can you allow yourself to be seen, heard, and valued? Anchored, safe in yourself, expand who you are, touch the edges of yourself, and know that your heart is a superpower. It is the thing that I hid for most of my life. 100% is the thing that I hid. And I know without a doubt, the more I lean into it, the more beautiful my life becomes, the people, the relationships, the connections, the opportunities. It's a superpower. I promise you, it is a superpower. And if it's a superpower, it's meant to be used when things are hard, right? It's meant to be used when things are hard. And that's how we do it. We anchor in and we lean in. And this is how we lead ourselves. This is where self leadership comes from. And it's so powerful when we are doing this work. So I wanted to share that with you because it's not always easy to do the things that we know help us best. Yet, this is how we grow. And this is how we continue to allow ourselves to be ready to do the work that we're here to do. And what a freaking privilege that is, right? What a privilege that is. I hope this message speaks to you. I cannot wait to continue to share more with you and all of the ways that we are growing and leading. If you want to dive into more of this work, it is anything from outspoken to unbothered to the heartwired CEO. All of these pieces are available for you to join us in this work. And I'm so excited with what this year's going to bring. So thank you and have an incredible day. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Own Your Choices, Own Your Life. If you love this episode, I invite you to tag me on social media with your takeaways or share it with a friend. Please, if you feel called, take 30 seconds to leave a 5-star review, and I will be forever grateful. Until next time, remember, when you own your choices, you truly own your life.